some recent discussions that I've had with some of you, like messaging back and forth, have inspired the topic of this video. This is not necessarily anything that's actually going on with any of the people that I've talked to. It's just inspired the idea, the topic. So I think I made a video a few years ago about not how to communicate with your husband, for what some things that you shouldn't communicate with your husband. And there's so many scenarios and so many situations that can be very challenging for a woman. I know several women that have to work full time for financial reasons, and even just for submission reasons. I mean, I'm sure they could cut a lot of things out of their lives, but their husbands don't want to. And so in order to keep that lifestyle, they need their wife to work. And so they're submitting, you know. Is that wrong? Is that right? I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the wife's attitude and how it needs to be during and in a situation like that. If you, or not necessarily that, but just if you need to work and you wish you could be home, managing your home, raising your children, that I truly believe is just the natural design of a woman that God has put into our hearts, into our beings. We are natural nurturers. We are natural at managing our domain, our home, making it a place for a family. We are natural at serving and loving our family. We naturally create the atmosphere to our home, no matter how much we like that or not. That's just the way it is. And I think it's because men, our husbands, naturally are happiest when we're happy, because they love us and they want to provide and they want to see their provision bringing forth appreciation and joy from the people that he's providing for. And that's something that God's put in them. So it can be really, really tricky when communicating your feelings with your husband. I am all about sharing your heart, your thoughts, your feelings with your husband. And I am all about our husbands needing to understand that we're emotional creatures, that we need them to be sensitive, that we need them to be there for us, and that sometimes we just need to be listened to. That's all true and real, but there's got to be balance. Women cannot just take that and run and be like, you're my husband, you need to hear every thought and every feeling and every emotion I feel every time I feel it, even if tomorrow it's going to be different, you know? So we have to be wise and not let our feelings lead us and guide our lives and live by feeling. We need to live by truth. And so ways to do that, of course, is to be in the Word so that your mind is always fresh with the truth of God, to be in prayer and for God to be your primary counselor so that you are running to Him before anybody else. You may, with some topics, want to talk to other women before your husband, because you want to not discourage and make your husband feel like he's not doing enough, with the specific example of wanting or you needing to work and being unhappy that you have to work. How many times does your husband have to hear that you're unhappy that you have to work? I think the first time will probably stick with him forever. And so, as hard as it is, the best thing for us to do in a position like that is to continue to encourage them, continue to love them, continue to show them how grateful we are that they work so hard and that they provide what they can, and to be joyful and cheerful and just in prayer. And when you struggle, not necessarily, just lay it all out for him every single time, because it can become discouraging. He could begin to feel like he has failed you because he can't afford to have you home full time, And so that's just an area where I think it would be really wise to not, share all the time. Also, you can apply that to anything. There's strengths and weaknesses in all of us. You may have strengths that your husband is just really not, strong in, and that's okay. We balance each other out. And there are some areas that you may have to just never mention again, You know, it's just who they are. It's how they are. It's how they're built. It's how they function. It's how they think. And you can't change that. And so just like accepting them for who they are, embracing them and loving them for who they are, and just serving them in love. Little things I think that across the board are in general pretty common among most men, but obviously there's always exceptions. Most men can walk into a room and where a woman would be like, oh, that's out of place. Oh, look at that stuff in that corner over there. Oh, look at this. They'll think the house looks great. Everything's tidy. And so if, you know, you tell your husband, can you please tidy up? Okay. He may not see the same things you see, you know? And so you may feel like you're always saying, this room's messy, please tidy up, or this is such a sorry example, but whatever. And after 10 years of marriage, this never comes up in my life. But still, just what I think might be an applicable example. But yeah, there's just going to be areas that you're going to have to die to yourself in and just serve them in grace and love and not care anymore. Hey, buddy.
Can I watch your show?
Not right now. Later after naps.
Please.
After naps.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please.
And so, yeah, whenever you want to talk to your husband about how you feel, think first, am I hormonal? Because this may be gone in 2 days. Okay. 2, have I gone to the Lord? 3, let me have the right composure and the right self-control to not like just make his night miserable now. And also, does he really need to hear this? How is this going to help him feel? Is there something that he can do to help me right now? If not, then sometimes you just need a listening ear, and that's great. But if what you're going to tell him is going to make him feel discouraged in any way, and you know your husband, so you need to think, will this discourage my husband? Will this make my husband feel like a failure? How many times have I talked about this already? You know, just those things should cross your mind before you bring something up. And sometimes when we feel that way, it is the best thing to just call it a night. You know, hold each other, get it on, watch a movie, something, anything. Focus everything on, I'm just going to love him tonight because I'm an emotional wreck and I'm making no sense. And tomorrow or the next day, if I'm still feeling like this, then maybe it's something that needs to be talked about. But I'm going to know for sure before I blah, you know? So balance between sharing everything with your husband and between having just a strength in the Lord, being strong in the Lord, and not needing to do that every time. So that's all.